Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel and welcome for everyone who is new here to my channel. Thank you so much for joining me today. I am really excited that you are here and thank you so much for the support. It means the world to me. So in today's video, I am going to be doing a bridal look. So this is going to be for someone who really likes to do their own makeup, wants to do it for their wedding day, just kind of like a bridal tutorial that you can use. So yeah, definitely go ahead and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already done so. You can go ahead and click that little bell and be notified of all my future uploads, and let's go ahead and get into it. All right, everyone. So I have been meaning to film this video for a little while now, but I just am getting around to it now. I've been doing like a lot of stuff and I just wanted to do a nice simple bridal makeup tutorial. So I am first going to start with primer. So it's really important to prime your skin before your makeup so that way you have like an even, nice blended canvas to work with, and you have that primer on so your makeup can stick nicely to it and it'll last for a long period of time. And of course on your wedding day, that is what you would want. You want your makeup to last all day. So I'm going to be going in with the Tatcha Liquid Canvas Primer. So this is a beautiful primer. It is a lightweight primer, so it's not going to feel very heavy on your skin, but it's also going to help that makeup stick nicely and not travel around your face. So I have really been loving this, and the reason why I did get the mini one, the reason why I do get the mini ones in this is because it is a little bit more pricey. So I like to get the little ones just because, you know, it is very pricey and it's easier to like travel with if you are, you know, traveling for a wedding. You don't have enough room in your bag, so it's just nice in that sense. And this is a beautiful primer. It smells amazing. I absolutely love it. And it just does a really nice job at smoothing out the skin and getting the skin ready for that foundation. Okay, so then for my foundation, I am going to be using the NARS Long Wear Foundation. So this is a beautiful foundation. I love this foundation. It's in the shade Santa Fe. And the reason why I like this foundation so much is because it is long wearing. So again, you're going to want something long wearing on your wedding day. You're going to be getting up very early, taking pictures early, you know, doing all that, saying hi to everyone, saying hi to all your guests, and you're going to want a nice foundation to be able to stick and last throughout the day. So I like to go in with a foundation brush. I kind of go back and forth between brushes and sponges, but I think in terms of wedding makeup, the brush is going to give you a little bit more coverage, and that's why I like to go ahead and use the brush. This is the IT Cosmetics brush. It is the Airbrush Blurring Foundation brush. It is such a nice brush. I love it. So this is a really beautiful foundation as well, and it also is very lightweight too. So it's a nice coverage and it is long wearing, but it also has a lightness about it, so you don't feel like you're like heavily caked in makeup. So I was actually like on the fence of doing my own makeup for my wedding. My wedding is coming up in September, so I was just back and forth for a long time on whether I wanted to have it done that day or I want to do it myself, because I am very particular when it comes to makeup. So I did many trials on myself. This would have been what I would do for myself on my wedding day if I wasn't getting it done. But I did decide that I wanted to get it done because I think that morning I just want to be like stress-free. I want to just sit back, have a glass of champagne, you know, relax and try and calm my nerves before like actually getting into like the wedding. So, you know, and you know, like my whole family and all my friends and my bridesmaids, they said to me, you know, you definitely can do your own makeup, you do a great job, but you definitely, like, you want to be kind of relaxed and chill that day because it's been a long time coming for this wedding. This is my third wedding date now because we did have to postpone our wedding because of the pandemic, but all good now because we are good to go. So I am very excited about that. So this just leaves a really nice canvas to work with. I did a lot of research. I looked online. I looked at like beauty gurus, YouTube channels. Like I also look on YouTube for everything. So I'm like always like looking and seeing like which is the best foundation, which is the best concealer, like all that stuff. And you know, it's also like trial and error. You test out a lot of foundations and a lot of makeup products to see what the best is for me, for my skin. I found that the NARS foundation really does work well, and I think it'll just be a really beautiful foundation for a wedding day. Okay, so now I'm going to go in with my concealer. So I'm going to be using the Jouer High Coverage Concealer. This is probably one of my favorite concealers I've ever used. It is so high coverage, so full coverage. Amazing. Like it lasts all day. There's really no cakiness underneath my eyes. It doesn't crease. I all around love it. Jouer is a beautiful, beautiful makeup brand. If you haven't already checked it out, definitely do so. If you do want to save a little bit of money, you can use my code, which is Rosella Viola. I will link it here on the screen for you, and I will also put it in the description. So yeah, if you want to save a little bit of money on your Jouer purchases, then go ahead and use that code. You'll get 15% off. So this is a gorgeous, gorgeous concealer. So I like to conceal right there. And then I'm going to go in with this concealer brush that I got at Sephora, and I have been really liking it. Like usually I do like to go ahead in and blend out my concealer with a sponge, but this brush actually works really, really well. So I have been really enjoying it. But definitely go ahead and use, you know, whatever tools make you feel the most comfortable, especially if you are doing your makeup on your wedding day. And I would definitely suggest doing a bunch of trials beforehand just to see exactly what you like, exactly, you know, what works, what doesn't work. Write everything down, make a mental note, you know, jot it down in your computer, your laptop, your phone, just so that you know for next time, you know, how those products are going to be working on your skin. So I just like to go ahead and kind of stipple it in there. I don't like to use a lot of product when it comes to concealer because, especially for me, I feel like it just really cakes up underneath my eyes and creases a lot. So that's why I don't use a lot of concealer. I personally don't think it is very necessary to use a ton of concealer, but you know, if that is what works for you and that is, you know, your method of doing makeup and what you like to do when it works, go ahead and do that, but this is just my personal preference. Okay, so now I'm going to set the eyes. So I like using the Becca Hydra Mist Set and Refresh Powder. This is a beautiful powder to set under the eyes with because it gives a nice blurring effect for under the eyes that I think looks so flattering. So I'm going to use my setting brush right here. This is by Real Techniques, and I'm going to go ahead and jump into the Becca powder. And I just put a very small amount. I definitely don't like to put a lot of powder either because I do tend to get a little bit cakey. So I like to just set under the eyes, and it just gives a nice blurring effect. Again, I just use very little under the eyes. Okay, so now before we go in with anything else, I'm actually going to set what I have on right now, and I'm going to use the Urban Decay All Nighter Setting Spray. This is a beautiful setting spray to just set that makeup in place, and I do want to go ahead and set my complexion products down first before I go in with the eyes and the rest of the face, just so this can stay in place all day. So I just like to give it a little squirts. So for the eyes, I'm going to prime with the Urban Decay Eyeshadow Primer Potion. This is my all-time favorite eyeshadow primer. I love it. It just really does a great job at gripping that eyeshadow. Doesn't move in place, you know, really, like, it really stays on all day and doesn't crease. So this is definitely my go-tos. This is the Eden one. The regular one is also really beautiful too. This is just more of like a matte finish, but the original is also gorgeous. So I just like to use my finger. So I just like to warm the product product up on my eyes. It just gives it a really nice canvas to go ahead in with the product. Okay, so for brows, I am going to use the Benefit Precisely My Brow Pencil. This is a beautiful eyebrow pencil. I love it. So I'm first going to go ahead with kind of like a spoolie brush here and just brush the brows out. Just make sure they're all kind of facing the right direction. So I like that it's ultra fine because I really like ultra fine brow pencils because I think it just gives a more precise application with the product. So I like to go underneath the brow and start there and just draw that outline of my brow. And then I'll start up top and just kind of connect the two. And I love the pigment on this. I think it's so nice. You definitely don't need a lot, so you don't really need to like go in hard with it. And then I just kind of fill in the rest of the brow. And I like that it looks like super natural, but it also gives a little bit like enhancement to the brow. Okay, so for eyes today, I'm going to be using the Too Faced Natural Lust palette. I love this palette. It is a nice big palette, so you have a lot of options to choose from, but I do like the fact that it is nice and neutral. I think it's perfect for a bridal look. You can do so many different options, but it does have the nice neutrals in there and just perfect bridal eyeshadow, I believe. Okay, so I'm first going to start with this shade right here. It's called Afternoon Delight. And I'm going to use this as a transition shade. So I'm going to use a fluffy crease brush like this to go ahead and apply it. So I'm going to start at my crease and just use this as a nice transition shade. So I like to start at the end and then kind of do circular motions in and then windshield wiper motions. This is just going to give you a nice even application when it comes to the product. It's just going to avoid that like patchiness to it and just make sure everything looks nice and evenly blended. Alright, so now I'm going to go ahead and use the shade Fall Hard, and it's almost like the shade that we used for the transition, but it's a little bit deeper. And I'm going to use that kind of as the same, like another transition shade, but it's going to go right on top. And I'm just going to use this to add a little bit more dimension to the eye and deepen it up a little bit. And I'm really focusing that brush right in the crease. This is like one of my favorite brushes, by the way. This is the Morphe M513 brush, like absolute favorite shadow brush. So again, just really focusing that shade in the crease. Now I'm going to take the shade Set in Stone and I'm going to use that on my outer eye. So I'm going to take a nice fluffy brush and I'm just going to use that on the outer corner here and just really get that pigment going. So this is definitely a more like golden smoky eyeshadow look, and I know that a lot of people like to be a little bit more natural on their wedding day, which is totally fine, totally up to you. You have to look and feel like your true self on your wedding day, especially when it comes to your makeup. And I think no matter what you choose, as long as you are happy, then it's going to look absolutely gorgeous. Like a more bronzy, like smoky look when it comes to my eyes. So this is something that it's going to be very similar to this on my wedding day. But again, if you choose to do something more subtle, a little bit more soft, then you absolutely need to choose, because this is your wedding day. You have to look and feel the most beautiful. So with that shade, I'm really just focusing it on the outer corner. Okay, so now I'm going to go back in with the first shade that we used, the Afternoon Delight, and I'm going to use that and blend everything together. I'm going to start like up where my crease is and kind of just blend it together so that way it looks a little bit more seamless, because you definitely don't want any harsh lines or anything like that. Okay, so now I'm going to go in with this shade right here. It's called Love Spark, and it's just a nice, beautiful, goldy shimmer shade. And with shimmer shades, I like to use my finger just because I feel like I have a little bit more precision and pressure on the eye, so the pigment comes out a little better with what I believe. So I like to just stamp it right onto the lid. You can absolutely use a brush if you choose to, depending on the shades that you're using, depending on the shimmer that you're using. You could find it a little bit more easy to wet your brush with setting spray or a little bit of water. Both will work. And I just love this shimmer shade. I think it's so pretty. Okay, so now I'm going to go in with this shade right here. It's called Flirty Pop. It's like a little bit darker, a nice like goldy brown shimmer, and I'm going to place this with a brush, and I'm going to place it like right where the other shimmer shade and the matte corner shade meets, because I do want something that is going to blend in a little bit more and just make a nice even transition, and I think that's really pretty. So now I'm going to take this brush right here, this kind of pointed detailed brush, and I'm going to take the Fall Hard shade, the kind of a little bit darker than the transition shade that we used, and I'm going to use that for underneath, because I don't want something too harsh and too dark, but I do want something that is going to show. So I'm just gonna do a little smokiness under the eye. I'm going to have it connect to the top here. Okay, so now I'm going to take another pointy detailed brush like this, and I'm going to go in with the shade Silk Robe, and it's definitely a lighter shade, and I'm going to use that for my inner corner. I'm going to put that right in here just to lighten up the eyes a bit. Because it's not, I love this shade because it's not too white, but it's not too dark, and it definitely brightens up the eye. Also going to use that on my brow bone just to highlight. Okay, so now I'm going to go in with a little bit of black liner, and I'm going to be using the ColourPop BFF liquid liner in black. You can use any kind of black liquid liner. I would just use something that isn't going to smudge. I do like the ColourPop one because it doesn't smudge. It's definitely affordable, so that's always a plus, but it doesn't smudge and it lasts all day. This is why I love to use this one. So I'm just going to go in with the smallest, thinnest line. Okay, so now I'm going to go in with lashes. So I love these lashes. These are the Ardell Wispies. So they are the original ones. They have the invisible band, so you don't have that like thick black band that you usually see with eyelashes. This is why I love them. And they are just like the natural wispies, which I love. I think they look so beautiful, and it's just going to like enhance any kind of eye look. It definitely looks like a natural wispier lash. So I love them. I'm going to pop them on really quickly, and I will be right back. Alright everyone, so lashes are on. I did totally forget to mention that I use the Tarte Maneater Mascara for my lashes before I put on the false lashes. I love this mascara because it is nice and lengthening and volumizing. It also just does not smudge or like budge at all, so I love it. I always do like to coat my lashes underneath before I go ahead and put the false lashes on, because it does kind of blend everything together so it doesn't look like you have fake eyelashes on. Okay, so let's go ahead and do the face. So I'm going to start off using the Rare Beauty liquid blush. This is in the shade Joy. I love, love, love her blushes. I think she did like such an amazing job with the Rare Beauty line. So I like to do the liquid first because I am going to go in with a powdered bronzer. So I always like to do the liquid before I go ahead and put the powder on. So with this, it's very pigmented. You definitely don't need a lot. So I like to start it here, Just add a little bit. Like literally that's all you need. And same on this side. And you can go in with your fingers and blend this out. So I like to start using my finger just to blend it out a little bit. I know it looks a little crazy right now, but I promise you it'll all come together. So I like to just go ahead with my fingers first and blend it. And then I go in with a blush brush and just blend it out. And this is totally your preference of what you like, you know, on your skin. But I am someone who likes a little bit more blush. I like a nice rosy cheek. So I know that on my wedding day, I do want to have a nice rosy cheek. So I am going to actually go in with 2 blushes. So I will go ahead and show you that after. But I do love the Rare Beauty liquid blush because it is, as you can see, very pigmented. But it also doesn't take the foundation off, because some liquid blushes just like strip that foundation from underneath, and it's really hard to like really get it to stay, and everything just kind of moves around. But with this one, it just doesn't do that. Like, it just does such a nice job at like blending into the skin. So I do like to place my blush up this way, like higher on my cheek, because of the way that my face is shaped. I feel like when I do apply my blush like on the apples of my cheeks, it just kind of makes my face look a little bit bigger. And I feel like this method just kind of like chisels out my face a little bit more. But again, totally your preference. However you find it more flattering on yourself, or how you like to do it, totally up to you. This is just how I like to do mine. Okay, so now I'm going to go in with bronzer. So I'm going to use the Benefit Hoola bronzer. I love this bronzer. This is also a little mini one, just because again, it is a little bit more of a pricier bronzer. So I do like to get the minis. They last me a while because I don't use them very often. I do like to use them when I'm going like to an event, like, you know, a wedding. And I know that I am going to be wearing makeup for a long period of time. This is just a nice, beautiful, classic bronzer, and I love that it's nice and matte. So I am just going to go ahead and bronze up the face, and I like to work it up in circular motions just to get that evenness. You know, and definitely don't be afraid to go ahead in with product, especially on your wedding day, because again, you're going to be taking so many pictures. There's going to be so many like flashes in your face that you're going to want something to actually show up really nicely on camera. And you know, if you don't have enough product on, it'll just wash it out completely. Certainly don't want to look too much and like too caked up, but you know, you definitely can fix it. And I like to bring it down a little bit on my neck just to kind of even everything out. That is just such a beautiful bronzer. I love it. Okay, so now I'm gonna go in with the Hourglass Ambient Lighting Blush. So this is such a beautiful blush. This is also a mini too, because again, it is a little expensive. So I do like to just kind of top off the liquid blush that we have on, just to kind of like set it in place. And this blush is also really pretty because it has a glow to it. So I just kind of like to stipple it on, and it just gives like a nice, beautiful glow. So now I'm going to set the face with my powder. So this is the Hourglass Veil Translucent Setting Powder. Just dunk a little bit into my fluffy brush and just kind of put it into the cap there. And with this, I just like to kind of go all over the face and just set everything in place. So I like to use a nice fluffy brush and set all that makeup down so it doesn't transfer or move for the rest of the day. Okay, so I'm going to go in with my highlight. So this is the Becca highlight. This is the shade Moonstone. I absolutely love this highlight. I think it's so beautiful. I am really sad that Becca is going out of business and they will be shutting down soon, so I actually probably need to like stock up on this. But this is such a gorgeous highlight. Like, it's honestly one of my favorites, and I think it's just so flattering for a wedding day look. So I just like to start up here, and you're going to want to highlight the high points of your cheekbones. So this is where like the sun is going to hit on your face. and just make you look nice and glowy. Okay, so for lips, I'm going to go in with this MAC Satin lipstick. It's in the shade Mocha. And I love this shade. I think it's so flattering, especially for like a September wedding, which is what I am doing. And I love MAC's lipsticks. They're just the best. And this is a nice creamy one. And I just think the shade is just so flattering. So I always do like a little bit of gloss on my lips. So I am going to be using the Tarte CH2O gloss. And this is in the shade Villa. So I do love this lip gloss because it's not sticky at all, and it also doesn't make your lips look like too shiny. I think that it's the perfect shade mixed with that MAC lipstick. I think it looks so nice together. And this is just for like an amped up lip. I think once we have our first kiss, the ceremony is over, I'll go ahead and apply the lip gloss because my fiance hates when I'm wearing lipstick and kisses me because then he gets it on himself. So just to like avoid that, I think I'm going to just apply my lip gloss after the ceremony, just so, you know, I don't get any lipstick on him. All right, so now we're going to set. I'm going to set with the MAC Prep and Prime Fix Plus setting spray. This is such a nice setting spray to have your makeup like long wearing. And definitely have a setting spray on hand throughout the day so you can freshen up, kind of just like refresh and revitalize your skin. All right, everyone, so that is my bridal look. So this is something that I would do on my wedding day if I were doing my own makeup. This does look very much like what I am going to be getting done on my wedding day anyways. I do love it. I think it's just really, really pretty. I would love to know what you think and your thoughts. I hope that this tutorial really helps you kind of decide what you want to do for your wedding day makeup, maybe kind of spark you and your interest of doing your own wedding day makeup, but definitely do what you want to do and what you want to do for your wedding day. So I hope that you enjoyed this video. Definitely go ahead, like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you all very soon in my next video. Thank you so much. Bye.